In the past, I've made numerous videos about the details of my Fundrise portfolios. Today, I want to change things up and go into more details specifically about my Fundrise IPO portfolios. If you have never heard of a Fundrise IPO, don't worry. I will go over what it is, what it does, and why I consider it a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that no one should pass up. Coming up. If you're new to the channel, my name is Trey and I have over $623,000 invested in stocks, crypto, and real estate. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out my entire Fundrise playlist linked in the description below. Also, if you decide to invest with Fundrise, make sure to open a new account using my referral link below. For a limited time only, Fundrise is giving $50 to anyone who opens a new account and funds it with just $10. Now, let's get started. So what is a Fundrise IPO? First of all, IPO in this case stands for Internet Public Offering, as opposed to a traditional definition of an IPO, which is an initial public offering. Fundrise is a private company, which means it does not have shares that can be traded on stock exchanges. However, Fundrise is doing something that has never been done before and is offering shares of its parent company by the name of Rise Corp. That's right, you can now own a part of a company before it goes public and becomes available to the masses. Take a look at this image here. As of right now, Fundrise is in a growth stage of a company's life cycle. We could see here, stage 2, growth stage. Now, take a look at the companies like Amazon and Facebook, which are at a profit stage. Right over here, which is stage 4, we could see Amazon and Facebook. So usually the companies go public and people are able to buy shares of a company at this stage 4, right over here. So Fundrise is giving people a chance to invest much earlier than usual before the company becomes a giant, which means your potential gains and return on investment are much higher. However, remember that the higher gains come with higher risk. So now that I got your attention with a potential 5x gains you can achieve from investing early with this Fundrise IPO, let's talk about how you can get on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. First, the Fundrise IPO is available exclusively to existing Fundrise investors on a limited basis. To be eligible to invest, you must be an existing investor with an account level of basic or higher, which means you need at least $1,000 invested in Fundrise real estate portfolios to be offered the shares of this IPO. Here, I want to reiterate that investing in Fundrise and Fundrise IPO are two completely different things. When you invest with Fundrise, you're investing in different real estate portfolios that Fundrise offers. When you get an offering to invest in the Fundrise IPO, however, you get an offer to invest in a company itself rather than the real estate that it offers. Second thing to point out is there are no costs or fees associated with investing in Fundrise IPO, and that if you decide to purchase these Fundrise shares, the minimum investment is $1,000, while the maximum investment is any amount that doesn't exceed 50% of your Fundrise real estate portfolio value. So for example, if you have $5,000 invested in Fundrise real estate, the maximum amount you will be able to invest in Fundrise IPO is $2,500. Also, you cannot move your money from the real estate portfolio and transfer it to the Fundrise IPO portfolio. Your investment in Fundrise IPO has to be done with newly funded cash. So now that you know what Fundrise IPO is, let's talk about how we can actually make money with this rare investment. As stated before, when you decide to purchase shares of an IPO, of this Fundrise IPO, you're investing in a private company that is in growth stage of its life cycle. So you get in nice and early on this ship before everyone else finds out about Fundrise when it becomes publicly traded company. As Fundrise grows and expands its operations, the value of these shares will go up accordingly. Let's take a look at this chart here, which shows how Fundrise has grown since 2014 in terms of assets under management, active investors, and employees. So as you could see, the company is growing exponentially year over year in all of these metrics. Take a look. April 2014, assets under management, just $665,000. 3 years later, $250 million. A year later, almost $500 million. A year later, almost $1 billion. In 2020, through the pandemic, not a big deal, didn't bother us. We're at 1.3 billion. And in the end of 2021, we're at 2.4 billion. Crazy growth numbers in just under 8 years. Look at the number of active investors. Started with just 500 and now we're at 217,000 investors. Wow, crazy growth. Look at the employees, right? The number of employees directly correlates to the expansion of a company. You could tell if the number of employees is going up, there's more and more work to be done in the company. That means the company is healthy, it's growing, and it's expanding. Take a look. Started with just 12 employees, and now we're at about 250 employees. I'm very, very excited to see these numbers for the year end of 2022 because I am so positive that the growth will be amazing. Now, let's take a look at the price per share of Fundrise IPO since its inception in 2017. As you see, with the growth and expansion of the company that I just mentioned above, the price per share has increased over 5 years. Let's take a look. So we started in May 2017 and the price was $5. Just 5 years later, on June 4th of 2022, $15. That is a triple bagger, 200% return in just 5 years. As you could see here, right before the COVID pandemic, the price of one share of Fundrise IPO was just $8.87. And then, thanks to the pandemic, look at the acceleration in expansion and growth of the company. Literally, in the last 2 years, we went from $8.87 all the way to $15. That's about a 2x, close to a 2x or 100% return in just under 2 years. So if you were lucky enough to invest in the Fundrise IPO in 2017 at just $5, you would have already tripled your money in just under 5 years. Now, these are amazing returns. This is how the chart of a healthy, expanding, strong company looks like. So it's all good and dandy if you tripled your money, but since Fundrise IPO shares are not publicly traded, aka illiquid, how are you supposed to make any actual money that ends up in your bank account? Well, in short, the only way you will ever actually realize these profits is if and when Fundrise becomes a publicly traded company. And that will happen when company becomes so large that in order to raise any more money for its operations, it would need to get much more people and much more money on board. If and when Fundrise goes public, the valuation of its shares is almost guaranteed to be inflated by crazy amounts. And that is when you will sell and realize your 10x gains. As many of you know, when many companies these days go public, their valuations are just completely through the roof. Some of them get listed on exchanges trading at 20x, 50x, 100x earnings. And the same will happen with Fundrise, and that is when you could get your massive, massive returns. If, of course, the company goes public. Now, the exact date when Fundrise goes public is obviously unknown, but many believe that it will be within the next 3 to 5 years. So as you could see, investing in the Fundrise IPO is a very, very risky thing, since there is a chance that Fundrise will never go public or will fail as a company and the shares will become worthless. That is why I never invest money that I cannot afford to lose completely. Oh, and the money you invest in this IPO will be used for general corporate purposes, which include expanding the team, building new products, and growing the user base. All the things that are needed to increase the price of the IPO shares. Now, I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is and show you my Fundrise IPO portfolios. Full disclosure, I have two Fundrise accounts. One of them is real estate heavy and the other one is an IPO heavy portfolio. So here they are. Let's take a look at my real estate heavy portfolio first. We're going to click on the overview. As you can see, this is my real estate heavy portfolio. It has almost $73,000 invested total. We're going to click on portfolio. We're going to click where it says Fundrise IPO. And as you can see, I invested around $2,000 into the Fundrise IPO with this account. Now, in order to actually see how much these shares are worth now, what we're going to do is we're going to click see note. And what we're seeing here is that I invested around $2,000, which equals to about 221 shares. And I invested sometime in the middle of 2020. Now, based on the current price per share of the Fundrise IPO, which is $15.15, the value of my shares is at around $3,300. So good return. Now let's take a look at my second portfolio, which I have opened here. This portfolio has almost $52,000 invested total. Again, we're going to click on portfolio. And we're going to click on the Fundrise IPO. As you can see, I call this an IPO heavy portfolio because a quarter of the money that I have invested total, I actually invested in the IPO as opposed to my previous portfolio, which is only around 3% of the total value is in the IPO. So as you can see here, guys, my total investment in this IPO with this account is around $12,870. Again, we're going to click on see note. I bought around 1,125 shares at a price of about $11.44 sometime in the middle of 2021. And the current value of these shares based on today's IPO price is around $17,000. Not too shabby. I believe these are great returns. I'm happy with these returns. I couldn't ask for more from Fundrise. In total, that's about 1,346 shares worth around $20,000 as of now. That is about a 40% return in just 2 years. Not bad if you ask me. So just to summarize, Fundrise IPO is a very risky, illiquid, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to become a part owner of Rise Corp before it goes public. It is available only to those who are investing with Fundrise real estate portfolios and have an account level of basic and want to invest a minimum of $1,000 into the IPO. So what are you waiting for? Open a new account using my referral link in the description below to get a $50 bonus. Then wait for Fundrise to offer you these IPO shares. Jump in on this opportunity before it's too late. It's risky, but no one has ever 10x their money in a safe investment. That's it for me, but I want to know what you think about Fundrise IPO. Do you think it is worth the risk, or is it just another corporate money grab? Will you be investing the next round of the Fundrise IPO offering, or will you be staying on the sidelines? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care and cheers.